Hello, I'm Cole Moriarty, and today I would like to talk to you about how voting is important. Voting is something every American 18 years old or older can participate in. Every 4 years, a new president must be chosen by the American people. It has been something that has not taken for granted ever since Independence Day in 1776. Back then, and until the ratification of the 13th and 19th Amendments, African Americans and women, respectively, had to fight a long time just for the right to vote. It is an American right and should be seen as a privilege by everyone who is able to vote. It is the staple of our democracy, it is the backbone that keeps the United States what it is today. Numbers show that citizens going to the polls are getting lower and lower every election. There is no denying the fact that the United States has poor attendance at the polls. According to Daniel Marins of the Huffington Post, the United States had the 9th lowest turnout at the polls among the 35 countries in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and that is unacceptable. If you are able to vote, then you need to go to the polls, and at least put something down. In the end, even a write-in option will help decide where the United States citizens stand. One thing that not everyone understands is that you don't have to vote for the Republican or the Democrat. There are other options such as the Independent Party, the Green Party, and the aforementioned write-in option. No one should feel that they are forced to vote either Republican or Democrat. At the end of the day, it is your choice and your choice only. One common statement associated with voting is "my vote doesn't matter." That statement is false, however. Every vote does matter, and just one vote can change the course of a nation. For example, in the 2016 election, some states had the death penalty and the legalization of marijuana in their ballots. One vote goes differently, and the death penalty is still in use, and marijuana stays illegal. Imagine this. Just one more vote, and you could have raised minimum wage by $5 an hour. One more vote, and college tuition is free. It only takes one vote to make a difference. You owe it to your country. And now I would like to play an audio.
Immigration, terrorism, healthcare, education. Do you have an opinion? Of course you do. These days, kids often get a bad rep. They are accused of not caring, being self-absorbed and apathetic, interested in the X Factor, sports, shopping or gaming, and certainly not interested in politics. But actually, all of these things that you are interested in come back to politics. Decisions on immigration, policies for healthcare, house building, even the sale of computer games or building of sports stadiums, all start with politics. Are you thinking of going on to further education, hoping for a student loan? Where do you think the decisions about funding for education come from? You've got it. Politics. Whatever you think, there will be other people who think the same. Identifying the political party that most closely mirrors what you believe won't be that difficult. It's true that politics is not without its own image problems, and there have been scandals and bust-ups that have not shown our leaders at their best. But for better or worse, our political system is what we have, and the only way we can hope to make a difference is to get involved, even if it is only to put an X in a box. Having a vote is having a say. You wouldn't let anyone else decide what music you should listen to, would you? You would always want to have a say about what you wear, eat or do for fun, wouldn't you? So why wouldn't you want to have a say about what happens to you or your world? Have your say. Use your vote.
I would now like to explain how voting can work for you personally. The video stated that voting is having a voice. Voting is like telling the government exactly what you want your world to be. Your choice resembles most, if not everything, that you stand for. Why wouldn't you want to spread your cause to make the world a better place? It is your voice, your representation in our democracy. Why wouldn't you take advantage? It is one of the only times where you can make your voice heard with one single act. Voting is something that people have fought for the right to do for a long time. In some countries, citizens are still fighting for this right. We should take pride in knowing that historical figures have fought just so you can vote. so you can have a say. We owe it to them to go to the polls and voice our opinions, because without voting, your world would be nothing like how you want it to be. And I will now pass out a handout with some facts on it. I'd like to start off with the fact that less than 50% of eligible young voters aged 18 to 29 cast a vote in 2012. That means that 50% of the young voters didn't even go to the polls. They didn't even care. Another fact is 19% of all votes cast in 2012 came from young voters. So just because they don't care and only 15% didn't go to the polls doesn't mean that they don't make up a big number. It just proves that the younger voters help have a bigger say in the overall election. And in most communities, the turnout for voting is less than 50%. So in every community, only half of the people are voting. And I'd like to finish with this one. Every vote matters. There have been several cases in U.S. history where this has been seen. A New Hampshire Senate race was decided by 2 votes out of 223,363 in 1974. A Massachusetts gubernatorial election was decided by 2 votes out of 102,066 in 1839. And the Alaskan congressional race was decided by a single vote out of 10,035 cast in 2008. This just proves why you should go to the polls and why your voice matters.